Hello, my name is Dr. Sanjeev Suratwala, and I'm an orthopedic spine surgeon in Long Island, New York, part of the Northwell Health System. I'd like to thank the organizers of the Minimally Invasive Spine Surgeons Association of Bharath for inviting me to this conference. Today's topic is going to be percutaneous radiofrequency ablation for metastatic spinal tumors, and I'm pleased to share my work on this. Let's start with an introduction about the topic. We can discuss treatment options, radiofrequency ablation itself, and share some data about this procedure. So the goals of our treatment typically would be to focus on compression fracture-related pain, as well as stabilize vertebral body, which may be at imminent risk of fracture. Expected survival can play into our decision-making. In surgical treatments for this, the goal would be to stabilize unstable pathologic fractures, stabilize potentially unstable lesions, as well as address neurological complications. Typically, given the morbidity associated with this is reserved for patients with a greater than 6 months life expectancy, with open decompression, resection, and reconstruction leading to 20 to 40% morbidity and mortality. Lesser invasive surgical options may reduce some of this, and our colleagues on this panel today might discuss more about them. The goal really is to focus on palliation at this point. Radiation typically is the workhorse for treatment of spinal metastases. It's used for pain management and local tumor control. Limitations here are delayed pain response and pain recurrence, which can be up to 57% reported in the literature, as well as radioinsensitive tumors, which do not respond to radiation. There's also a limit on maximum dosage you can provide a patient, and spinal instability or fracture is not typically addressed. So what can we do percutaneously here? Well, there are diagnostic and therapeutic options. So let's focus on the therapeutic options. Most of you will be familiar with percutaneous vertebral augmentation, vertebroplasty or kyphoplasty, but there are also minimally invasive local ablative procedures with the acronym MILAB. So when we look at cement augmentation, the CAFE study discussed significant pain relief at 1 week with increased function at 1 month. And this is typically indicated for compression fractures, mainly osteolytic lesions, multiple myeloma, some evidence for osteoblastic lesions as well. And these are overall very safe procedures with rare complication of mortality and neurologic injury of less than 1 to 2%. Mechanism of injury is stabilization, reducing periosteal nerve stimulation, structural support, direct thermal or chemical neurolysis, as well as effect of the tumor on the tumor due to the PMMA. With radiofrequency ablation, you can get heat-mediated tissue necrosis, and there's a concern of thermal injury to spinal cord and nerve roots when a single probe is used. With use of bipolar radiofrequency ablation techniques, you can reduce the temperature of the canal within normal limits, and it can also lead to significant pain reduction. It can be indicated for compression fractures, and typically used for osteolytic lesions, osteoid osteomas. There is some risk of neurovascular injury, 5 to 7%. And the mechanism here is heat-mediated destruction of pain fibers, stabilization by destruction of the lesion to reduce erosion of the bone, and destruction of osteoclasts. Cryoablation is another technique that's been around for a while. Argon gas or liquid nitrogen are typically used. Temperature fluctuations with passive thawing alternating with freeze cycles will cause this osteolysis, a tumoricidal effect. And these can be used for osteolytic and osteoblastic lesions. They can lead to significant pain relief and effective local tumor control. The mechanism of action here is the extreme cold mediated destruction. So when you combine a vertebral augmentation with a local ablation procedure, you can get, you would think you would get significant benefit, but there are mixed results in the literature. So the Metastatic Spine Working Group has recommended using a combined PVA and MILAB technique for patients with more than 6 months life expectancy, few visceral metastases, a good performance status, asymptomatic spinal metastases, or uncomplicated spinal metastasis, or stable pathologic vertebral compression fracture. The mechanism of action here is the combining vertebral stabilization with local tumor control. So let's focus on the bipolar radiofrequency ablation for the rest of the talk. These slides are courtesy of Medtronic, and you can watch the animation on the YouTube link provided here. Essentially, this is the setup. There's a monitor, which is also a radiofrequency generator. There's a pump that cools the setup through normal saline. There's a connector hub to which you attach the probes, and then the ablation probes as well as the bone access tools. This is a coaxial bipolar technology that delivers localized tumor ablation. These are internally cooled, so you can target a larger volume and protect adjacent structures. And you can see how you can create a sizable lesion here using bipolar radiofrequency ablation probes. You access the vertebra through an osteointroducer, just like you would with the vertebroplasty or kyphoplasty. And then the distal tip indicates the approximate posterior ablation boundary, and you can see that on the X-ray here. And you can advance the drill to create a channel for the probe and the ablation probe. And the sizes here, the yellow, blue, and green, gives you an idea of the size of the ablation probe to use. And this is nice because you can target the size of the lesion based on the X-ray. And the distal drill tip indicates the anterior boundary. You can use simultaneous ablation with two probes, as you can see, the A and B, and you can use biparticular ablation, adjacent levels, as well as multiple levels. And this is pretty automated. You just connect the probe and the monitor lights up, and you deliver 15 minutes at approximately 5 watts of power generated and delivered per probe. And once you power it on, you can actually watch the timer, and you can see the temperature go up, and it's held at that level at 70 degrees Celsius. You can leave the bone access for subsequent procedures like vertebroplasty or kyphoplasty. And this is typically indicated for benign painful tumors like osteoid osteoma or lytic lesions. And the goal is to provide palliation of metastatic malignant lesions in vertebral body. Contraindications would be sclerotic lesions, example prostate cancers, multiple myeloma, which is typically not targeted through this, cord compression or neurologic compromise, or spinal instability due to pathologic fracture, unless you also try and stabilize with the cement procedure at the same time. And this is to the results of the study, the Opus 1 clinical study outcomes in 100 patients treated. And this is a multi-center study across the United States, Europe, and Canada with 250 subjects recruited, and the follow-up was up to 12 months. 87% tumors are localized in the thoracolumbar spine, with 13% localized in the pelvis and sacrum. So you can also target the pelvis and sacrum with this technique. 68% at single target site, and 32% at multiple sites treated. And cement was used in 97% of cases, and there were no post-procedure fractures at the ablation site. So you can see that the pain relief is swift within a week, significant, and sustained up to 6 months as reported in here. The quality of life, adverse effects, and adjustment and radiation therapy can, as you can see, the quality of life and adverse effects are pretty satisfactory and actually quite significant with improvement of quality of life. And you can also do radiation therapy for this. So in conclusion, percutaneous interventions for spine metastases provide rapid pain relief and improved function. And you have to look at palliation versus curative options here. The goal really is to provide local tumor control, and this can be considered an important component of multimodal treatment of spine metastases. Thank you for your time.